Good afternoon. Welcome to the Uplift with Vision. I'm Reverend Patti Paris, and we're going to talk about stuff today. So get ready, strap in. We're going for a lot. But first, let's pray in. I give great thanks for this time we spent together. It is absolutely a blessing to come together in spiritual community. Regardless of the miles that separate us, we know we are one in heart. We know that there is one Spirit, one God, one universal intelligence, and that we all have our being in it, that it flows through us and as us in the world. So really, there is only this one, and we remember who we are, and we remember whose we are. Remember that we are a delightful, brave, brilliant outpicturing of the one life of God, individualizing itself as each one of us. So we are all here together with all of the qualities flowing through us, awakening, understanding, and loving the soul within, the wonderful being that we are, that universal spirit that is finding an outlet for experience as each one of us. So I give great thanks for this time spent together. I know it is all God. It is all good, and so it is. Yay, so it's Thursday, and I thought we would talk about 10 things. So it's 10 Things Thursday, and I want to talk about, well, 10 things that will increase our peace, because I think we could use a lot more of that right now, don't you think? Yeah, there's a lot going on, I know. So I'm thinking, I want to talk peace. I want to talk the peace of God, peace of mind, the peace that passes all understanding, however you want to refer to it, right? And we want to increase that in our lives, particularly now when we're challenged with a whole bunch of things that are happening in the world today at the level of the, the physical, at the level of the condition. And we just want to walk through all of this in a sense of peace. And really the way we get there is through our spiritual practice, right? I remember Mother Teresa saying in particular one day she had so much to do, she was going to have to meditate twice as much. I love that. It's true, right? Oh my gosh, I have such a busy day, I need to meditate twice as much in the morning. Well, Ernest Holmes said this in Richer Living. He said, "We are established eternally in a peace which has never been disturbed. When the appearances of adversity and confusion confound us, it is indicative that definite meditation is needed to restore our thought in the peace that forever abides in its fullness." So that's really a big key right there. When we find ourselves being tossed about, in all of the chaos, we have not meditated enough. What we are going for here then is peace in our heart, peace on our mind, and that peace might be in short supply right now because all of the things in the world are, grabbing our attention. And if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling that pull and the chaos and the disruption, then you are not meditating enough. There you go. There's one big answer right there. There is so much going on in the world right now, right? First of all, the pandemic. We're all separated. We can't get together physically in this room, in this sanctuary. We cannot physically come together as spiritual community. And then there is unemployment. And then there's the risk of, the health benefits may be running out. There is the sense of isolation that this feelings, will bring up. The physical separation can bring out feelings of isolation. Then, then there is the Black Lives Matter movement that is in full swing right now. Then the peace marches, the demonstrations, the absolute awakening it is calling for in the United States, right? It is calling for us to awaken to, systemic racism that has been going on forever in this country, and how we can address that and how we can walk through that and how we can transform that as well. And, oh yeah, it's an election year too, right? So there's just a couple of things going on in the world. And so you can feel that, can't you? It becomes a visceral thing for us. We get a little pulled in this direction and pulled in that direction. And pretty soon we become part of the chaos that we see all around us. So with so much going on, the practice of peace is more important than ever. Our personal practice, our meditative practice, our prayer practice, our spiritual practice, all of that is so much more important now than ever before because there are so many other things that can get our attention and pull us off our center. And John Lennon said this: if someone thinks peace and love are just cliches that must have been left behind in the 60s, that is a problem. Peace and love are eternal. Isn't that lovely? Peace and love are eternal. And we know this because we know both peace and love are qualities of God. Of course they are eternal. They're qualities of God. So I was reading this article online the other day, and it listed 10 things to give up in order to feel more peace in your life, right? And you want more peace in your life? I want more peace in my life. I think we all do. So I'm going to tell you what the 10 things are, but to preface that, I want to say this. I want to say that truly peaceful people don't spend much time wishing things were different, right? I wish it were this way. I wish it were that way. You know, wanting something other than what is actually happening, right? We don't spend much time wishing things were otherwise. And then the other thing that really truly peaceful people do is they don't try to change other people, because, you know, that's just a losing battle right there, right? The only change that we know we can affect is the change within. So I wanted to preface these 10 things by just saying that right off the bat. And also, I think the other thing we want to keep in mind is that truly peaceful people practice self-care. So that's an important part of this. It's not one of those 10 things, but it should be, that we should practice self-care. And also self-improvement. Be those lifelong learners, right? Because what we're wanting to do is to be our better selves, right? Not because we're in competition with anyone else, but because we want to be better than the us we were yesterday. Really, that's more likely what it is. So let's get into it. These are the 10 things, according to this article from Inc., the 10 things to stop doing. I'd like to rephrase that into a positive statement, but I haven't thought about what that would be yet. Anyway, 10 things to avoid or stop doing to increase your own peacefulness. And the first one is stop engaging with toxic people. I know, right? Sometimes you're related to them. I get that. But we don't have to engage them, right? Engaging with people who lie or who gossip or who judge or who bully or cheat, it takes a toll on us. It takes a toll on our souls. So not engaging, maybe it doesn't mean, you know, absolutely staying out of their circle entirely. I mean, maybe you can't. Maybe it is someone in your family, you know. Maybe you are going to have to see them at Thanksgiving. But it's about not engaging, all right? Not engaging, not spending time or energy trying to convince toxic people to be otherwise. And I see that a lot on Facebook, don't you? Don't you see that as well? Someone will say something despicable, you know, somebody will put up a post or something that's just horrific. And then everybody in the comments section is trying to convince them, you know, that they shouldn't feel that way. Don't even engage. Scroll by. Scroll by. Don't engage with toxic people, right? It only does damage to your soul. The second one is stop the excessive self-blame. We can really beat ourselves up quite a lot over things. Oh, why did I let that happen? Or what was I thinking that caused that? Or why would, you know, why? Some things we don't have any control over, right? Some things we just don't have any control over. We realize what is ours to change, what is ours to choose, and what isn't. Some things are just beyond our control, like the economy or the weather or other people's choices, So to pull back on the self-blame, right? Be forgiving. Be forgiving of yourself and others, mainly yourself. Be forgiving of yourself first. So the third thing, stop chasing happiness. There is a need, right? This thinking that we want to avoid pain at all costs, right? This chasing happiness, this need to be happy all the time backfires on us. Because when we're not happy, we think something's wrong. Well, nothing's wrong. We're just not happy. right? So this idea that we must be happy all the time or we're doing it wrong is a story we're running on ourselves. And it's just not truth, you know? We're experiencing all of the emotions. We're here for the highs and the lows. Our soul is here to experience. And it doesn't quantify or qualify the experiences. It just wants to experience life in 3 dimensions, or 4 if you include time. So stop, you know, chasing happiness and avoiding unhappiness. Or the idea even that you must be happy all the time or there's something wrong, you know. It's just not the truth of us. And in a way, it enables us to look forward to things, to build for things too. We can build a brighter future by creating goals in which we know things work out in our lives. So, yeah, so stop chasing happiness. Number 4, stop staying comfortable. Now, I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive, right? Stop trying to be comfortable. It may seem like staying inside your comfort zone is exactly where you want to be peaceful, but it isn't. It really, really isn't. Where our growth comes from is facing our fears, venturing into the unknown areas, testing our limits. You know, these are the ways in which we do feel good about ourselves, ways in which we express ourselves positively. So get out of your comfort zone. What else have we got? Number 5, stop falling back into the victim mentality. If you blame all of your problems on external circumstances, you will never take responsibility for your life. If it's always your ex-husband's fault, or it's your boss's fault, or it's the government's fault, or it's your parents' fault, or whatever, why you're not happy, or why you're not peaceful, or why you're not successful, you'll never be peaceful. You'll always be at the effect of everyone else's behavior, everyone else's decisions, everyone else's life. And you'll really lose your own life to it. This idea that, you know, it's everybody else's fault really places you in a situation where you have no control. And what we know is that when we feel in control of our own lives, we do feel at peace. When we feel we can control our thoughts, we can control our choices, we can control our decisions, then we refuse to hold those pity parties for ourselves, right? Oh my God, oh, what's wrong, you know. So stop being the victim. Number 6, stop trying to impress people. Or another way to say that is stop trying to make people like you. You know, you're not everybody's cup of tea, let me tell you. I know I'm not. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. That is absolutely okay. What is more important is to be comfortable in your own skin. When you are fully self-actualized, when you are your authentic self, when you are in charge, when you're in control of that spiritual essence of yourself, that inner God, the spiritual nature of yourself, you're here in all your glory and all your magnificence. And when you know that, you don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anybody to accept you or, you know, like you or whatever, come to your party. You are your own party. You know, you don't need to try to make people like you. You know, it's just, and first of all, it's like a lost cause because you're not going to get everybody to like you anyway. But it's not important. It's not important. You don't have to waste time trying to get the approval of others, right? We focus on our own lives and making ourselves happy. So number 7, stop the pursuit of perfection. Just stop. Because, you know, you never get there. And if you are setting the bar so high for yourself that everything must be perfect, you won't do anything. You won't do anything because you're afraid it won't be perfect, right? We get paralyzed. oh my God, if it doesn't come out perfect, I don't want to do it at all, you know? Some things you just need to do. Some things you just need to jump in and do them half-assed. Or, sorry, you know what I mean. You just have to do things. Striving for excellence is a worthy and noble cause. Striving for excellence is a worthy and noble cause. But perfectionism just beats you up. You know, I remember, I think Brene Brown said something like, you know, if you're driving for perfectionism, then you know shame is riding shotgun. And that's really what it is. It is that sense that we're never going to be good enough. So do stuff, try stuff, experiment with stuff. This goes back to going out of your comfort zone. Try new things, fail at new things, make mistakes, do them again, or don't do them again, do something else. But be okay with doing something mediocre. Be okay with doing something, trying and failing. Be okay with trying something new and deciding you don't like it and you're not going to do it again. All of those things are okay. And it keeps us out from under that oppression of perfectionism. Number 8, grudges. Drop your grudges. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Clinging to anger or clinging to hatred or grudges, all it does is it reduces our own life. It reduces the scope and the nature and the beauty and the brilliance of our own lives. When we are busy, you know, having it out with somebody else mentally in our head, you know, when we're duking it out with somebody in our head because we're right and they're wrong, or they hurt us, or they betrayed us, or whatever, it's damaging the quality of our own life. And it's not doing anything to them. They probably don't even know it. They've probably forgotten all about it. So let go of your grudges. Put it down. Now, this doesn't mean you allow yourself to be abused by people. Okay, Ernest Holmes said we're spiritual beings, but we're not spiritual doormats, right? So we don't allow ourselves to be abused by people just to prove how spiritual we are. But we don't, you know, we can forgive people, but we don't have to go out to lunch with them. You know, we can forgive people, but not have coffee with them. We can give them safe passage through our minds, but we don't have to spend time with them. You know, just giving up your grudges is freeing yourself from the past. That's really what we're talking about. And number 9, give up the quest for material things, right? Expecting material possessions to satisfy your needs will leave you disappointed. It always does, because it's saying that there's something outside of us that's going to make us happy, right? It's not. Nothing outside of us is going to make us anything. Those feelings come from within. Those feelings of happiness, of joy, of abundance, of love, of freedom, those things are within us and they come out of us. It's not about the stuff we collect from the outside changing what the inside feels. So that, you know, more money that you make, or the bigger house, or the better car, or whatever, the expensive wardrobe is not going to give you that peace of mind. No, I mean, and I'm not saying don't, you know, go for any of that stuff. I'm not telling you to give up everything and go for the robe and the rice bowl. But those things, going externally to try to change the internal, just doesn't work. It only leads to frustration and disappointment. Yes, it's okay to enjoy nice things, absolutely. But don't expect those material possessions to provide you with those internal feelings. Those internal feelings are yours to let out of you. And then number 10, here's the last thing you want to give up. You want to give up complete self-reliance. I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive too, but we are not islands. We don't do it all alone. You know, I know a lot of people, particularly in spiritual circles, will tell you, you know, oh, God doesn't give you any more than you can handle. And you know, that's BS. That's just nonsense. You know, first of all, occurrences happen in our lives, and many times we are given more than we can handle. That's what spiritual community is for. That's what your practitioner is for. That's what your minister is for. There are plenty of times we are handed more than we can handle, and that's when you call someone, and that's when you get a session, and that's when you get prayer, and that's when you call upon your higher power, and that's when you do those things, because we can't handle it all alone. We are not islands. So whatever it is, know that there is strength with others, where two or more are gathered, where we come together in prayer to know the highest and the best, where someone can know the truth for you while you're struggling. That is absolutely what spiritual community is all about. That's all about what practitioners are about, is holding the light for us when we find ourselves in the darkness. We don't have to have all the answers, but we have to reach out and we have to phone that person, right? Phone a friend. We have to call that person who does know that the answer is in spirit, and then pray together, right? Pray together. Because Ernest Holmes used to say that people would come to him for prayer sessions, and they would, you know, blurt out their story and this and this and this and this. And what should I do? What should I do, Dr. Holmes? You know, and he said, I haven't a clue. He would tell them, I don't know, but I know one that does. And so let's go to prayer. And that's what they would do. And, you know, a way is always found, right? Because the answer to the prayer is in the prayer while it's being prayed. Absolutely. So there you go. There's those 10 things you need to give up right now, starting today. Just give them up. You give up all of that stuff, you know what you're left with? Peace. You're left with peace. You're left with peace in your mind. You're left with peace in your heart. You're left with peace in your life. Let's pray out. I give great thanks for this moment in time, coming together knowing that God is all there is, and that the quality of God, known as peace, exists within us at the center of our being. The peace of God is right there. It is accessible to us any time of the day and night, anytime we remember who we are, anytime we call upon the peace of God. We call it to flow through us, to actualize itself as us, to just absolutely flow into the conditions around us, transforming our lives. We know and accept that peace is a quality of God, so it is a quality of us. It is demonstratable right here, right now, and any time we remember who we are. I give great thanks for this time spent together, knowing it is all God, and so it is. Thanks so much for spending this Thursday with me. Love to all of you, from my heart to yours, Vision. There is no separation. We are one. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.